As we drove into the pub, Chris noticed a male walking across the road.
Painter's trousers, decorator's van. It's got to be our man.
I don't think he clocked us. He didn't clock us, did he?
No. The way he was walking across here, you could tell he was drunk straight away. Tan, you won't be able to see the car park if we park here. I know he's got to come right.
Once again, the cops want to catch their prey in the act.
Just lay by here. I'm going to get out. For some unknown reason, and he's never done it before, he got out of the car and he goes, I'm going to go and have a look.
As the male crossed the road, he went out of view, so I just wanted to be sure that he went into the pub car park and not walked further up the road, otherwise we would be sitting there for half an hour and nothing would happen. As I got closer, I just heard the sound of an engine. Let's go, he's coming! And I immediately realised it was him.
And the next thing I hear is the slap of feet and the huffing of, panting of breath. And Tan runs back and it's him.
You're a naughty boy.
We've got the van. We found Mr. Drunk walking back towards the pub. And he's just got in his van.
The white van man's in no hurry to pull over.
That was funny.
The police computer says the man's name is Wayne Hughes.
He took his time. I got out and, as normal, just nice and polite, thank you for stopping.
Wayne, though, is far from happy.
Knobs.
He was actively resistant towards us.
All right, don't be cross. Don't be cross. What's your name?
Bert.
Bert? Right. If you're going to go down that route, Bert, you're under arrest.
He was just being obstreperous towards us, and I just thought, I'm not going to play your game. If you're going to lie to me or treat me like a fool, my patience wears very thin very quickly.
Sorry?
You can tell it from my driving.
I can tell by the smell of the alcohol on your breath.
No, but you didn't put it on before you pulled me over, did you?
Don't bother, Chris.
Cool.
OK, lovely.
We saw you walking around and then you went into the pub and then jumped in your car. You were very unsteady on your feet.
If the police have enough suspicion somebody has been drinking and driving, they don't have to use a breathalyzer.
We can just arrest him section 4. That's what Chris did.
It's late night shopping back at Asda. But at last, something's happening. Jim spotted 2 people coming towards the stolen hire car.
White trainers, large bill, beige bag and a hat. Just approach the vehicle, getting into the driver's seat.
Nathan and Chris need to move fast, so there's no chance of the car or the occupants getting away.
So it's very important from an evidential point of view to get them in that vehicle. The problem we then have is that we don't want that to then turn into a pursuit. Contrary to popular belief, we don't want pursuits.
Take that 306 to your words, so we can see you in
The Whiskey 7, are we going into them? Yeah, we're in there now. Okay, yeah, got it. Over there.
We came in all lights blazing, cut the vehicle off so that he couldn't go forwards or backwards.
At the moment, you're under arrest on suspicion of theft of a motor vehicle, all right? You're going to have to say anything.
Wait,
This motor vehicle, 2 seconds, you don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence, mention when questioning something like lying in court. Anything this can be given evidence, you understand, okay?
Theft for what?
This vehicle's shown as being outstanding stolen from Avis rental car, okay? Therefore, you've been arrested
my
on suspicion
days.
of it, okay?
What's your name, fella?
Caught me. Oh my days, officer, listen to me. Let me explain something before you hit me. Listen.
The male driver, he was very, very heavily built, so my concern was to gain control of him straight away.
On my mother's life, you're arresting me for no reason.
Well, the car's shown as outstanding stolen.
He made mention over there had been problems with payment, but really didn't give a great account as to why.
The arrest was commenced a prompt and effective investigation, do you understand that?
No, but now you're going to put me in a cell for
We're
hours.
going to speak to you about it, we're going to speak to you and make some inquiries about it, but at the moment, because you're in that vehicle and that's just driven off, it's report stolen, you've been arrested. Do you understand that?
Nathan had gone to the passenger side and was dealing with the female passenger, which allowed me to conduct a search of the vehicle.
This is
No,
ridiculous.
you need to understand that whoever owns this car, which isn't him, has reported it stolen.
How do you know it's not him? How do you know it's not his
Well,
money?
I know it isn't his car because I know who the registered owner of it is, and it's not him. Have you got any identification on you?
No, sorry.
The man's into sport or serious self-defence.
A couple of baseball bats.
Does he play baseball, does he?
He does sports with he does kit.
I haven't found a football yet.
No, seriously, he does he plays with kids and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's all sports related.
Well, I'm guessing as there's a baseball in here as well. I'm guessing you play baseball. Well, that's it then, isn't it? I didn't say anything to you. He had a perfectly legal reason to have those, but you have to remain calm and establish the facts before you react.
Some paperwork in the boot might show if he's got a perfectly legal reason for having the car as well.
What's he said about why he's got the vehicle? Has he
It's all
said
to do
it?
with the payment, he says.
Pardon?
Any comments he's made, it's all to do with the payment. So whatever that is.
There's lots of... We often get hire vehicles that we stop, and in those vehicles you will find a number of pieces of documentation relating to the hire of several vehicles over a very short period of time.
Rental cars, rental cars, rental cars.
So you have to ask questions as to why a person is hiring several different vehicles over a short amount of time. What is their reasons for doing that? You can draw your own conclusions from it, but you've got to remain impartial to a certain extent, and you need to look at the evidence you have in front of you.
The reason that you're in this situation is because you're in a vehicle that's been reported stolen.
Because you saw two black people and you felt the need to pull them over.
Well, if you think that, I'm sorry that you think that.
That's what it is. It's racism to the highest degree. That's what it is.
Okay.
It always is with police officers. They just see black people and think suddenly we're doing wrong. Well, guess what? He works with kids. Guess what? I work. We pay our taxes. We do things like that. Doesn't mean that we're criminals just because we're black. Jesus.
But you're in a stolen vehicle.
In a stolen
The
vehicle
fact remains.
that I knew nothing about.
The reason they were stopped had nothing to do with their backgrounds. Had it been a middle-class white person in that car, it would have still got stopped.
To make matters worse for them, the pair are going to be searched and taken to the NIC.
Yes. Because you need to be spoken to by the officers who are going to be investigating this offence.
The girl's name is Scarlett, and unfortunately for her, she's out with a man on a first date that's not turning out so well.
You don't even understand, he wasn't even here. So don't come here and start hearing half the story and then thinking...
No, but I'm doing my job by searching you before you go in the car.
Doing your job for what? You got
I'm searching
me
before you
over
go in
for
the
no
car.
reason.
That's why I'm here.
This is just absolutely ridiculous.
I think she got a bit more than she bargained for.
Are you happy with that? I've got nothing on it. Are you not happy with that?
It's not for me to be happy, it's for this officer to be happy.
You know what, I've got things to do and I don't have time to be sitting there talking to you lot. So can we just hurry up, get this over and done with so you can let me go? Would you like this?
Yes, please.
Here we go.
Would you like
Can
to
you
put
not, this is literally an £800 bag. Can you just make sure nothing happens to it?
when we get to the police station, it'll be put in a locker and nobody else will
Not
touch
on
it.
the floor,
Can you
not
just
on
put your
anything.
sunglasses in there for me?
As well, £250 glasses.
Wow.
Throw him then.
Really very appreciate it. That's all I said.
Decision had been made by our Oscar 1, the inspector, and he said, we'll get the vehicle recovered. There's always forensic opportunities in the vehicle that we can use.
I'm not going to run off. Come on, you as a woman should know I'm not going to run off in 4-inch heels. Come on.
I can't say I've ever seen you in 4-inch heels.
Pardon?
Obviously, being stopped by the police when you're on your first date, not ideal, I suppose. She was planning on a candlelit dinner somewhere. Not custard donuts at Asda's.
While the couple get transported to the police station and their car gets taken away from Asda, the white van man caught drinking and driving in Bedford is already being booked in for a night in the cells.
Listen, like I said in the car, let's sort this out. You're here for a reason. You've got yourself in this mess. The custody sergeant's going to deal with you. We're going to get you out as soon as possible.
Wayne is still fuming that he didn't get the chance to blow into the roadside breathalyzer.
Why did you ask for a breath test? because he's explaining to you about your demeanour.
He's not explaining, you are.
Well, you keep talking over me though,
Well,
don't you?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to speak over you, but normally...
If your attitude... let me answer
No, I
it.
don't mean attitude.
Listen.
He thought we were picking on him. When we weren't, we were just doing our job.
It's been since you've been here. I can understand why the traffic officer has decided.
Well, how can you tell that if we walk across the street?
Sir, I've tried my best to
That's
explain
what I'm
it to
asking
you.
you. How can you tell by me walking across the road? It's pulled me over, opened my van door, and pulled me out the van door and arrested me. It's not asking me a breath test.
Your first words out your mouth, which I remember, or sake. Then you got out your car and I invited you into the back of my car.
Yeah.
I got into the front while you sat in the front, while in the back. I moved my chair forward so to give you leg room, and you were already in a bit of a huff. And I said to you, "What's your name?" And you went, "Bert." And you did it in such a way that I believed that you were going to be obstructive to me.
If I was your size, would you have dealt with differently?
It's got nothing to do with your size.
Well, okay then, that's good to know.
Chris didn't really get off to a good start with him, and by looking at his demeanour and the way he was, I decided to stay quiet. It wasn't until we got to custody that I got a bit involved, because I knew I would be putting him on the intoxilizer machine. Keep going, 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 keep going. You hear the beat? Keep going, keep going, keep going. That's it. Cheers.
The man's blown hot and cold all night. Now he's blown over.
77 and 76, so that's over 50. We'll take the lower out of the two, which is 76. It's going to be a straightforward charge.
Wayne's more than double the legal drink drive limit. He's facing a lengthy ban and will need to watch his back in the future.
If somebody gets disqualified as a result of drink driving, then we're going to try and get him disqualified again for driving whilst disqualified. I think it's only fair that we use the intelligence system the best way we can, and if intelligence suggests that somebody's driving whilst disqualified, then we're going to be around the corner.
Back in Stevenage, the two occupants of the hired Clio out on a first date at Asda have arrived at the police station.
Due to the vehicle being reported as stolen, he was charged with taking a vehicle without consent and using a vehicle with no insurance.
Scarlett's facing a very minor charge.
Being carried in a stolen motor vehicle.
Being carried in a stolen motor vehicle that I didn't know was stolen.
Well,
if you were being carried in a stolen motor vehicle that you didn't know was stolen, then maybe you'd have that too. Maybe
having never been in that situation, I don't know.
Well, not one of us are goody two shoes like you. Well, none of us can live the privileged white boy life. Some of us do have rough lives.
He just said they'd just met on a date, they'd gone to Asda to get some food, and then this all happens. He didn't think it was a great experience, and I don't think he thought that his relationship with her would probably go much further.
I thought that was you walking. Right, so...
Let me take my bra and panties too, or is that too much?
The bra, it's undivided up to the custody sergeant.
Next time any guy asks me out, I'm going to ask their licence, their registration, their insurance, everything.
Ask for proof that they own the car.
But how would
So
you know
want
that?
to see the V5.
What's the V5?
It's a registration document. It proves you own the car.
I know the first thing about cars.
It's such a romantic name for him.
She was allowed to speak to her mum and tell her what was going on.
Mummy, I've been arrested. Oh no, please just come and get me when I'm done. It's in Hertfordshire.
She was taking it in a lot better humour than I would have been if I'd have been arrested for being in a stolen vehicle.
Love you. Bye. She said she's going back to her base.
That's a good idea. I think we ended up having a laugh and a joke about the whole situation.
Definitely the worst first date I've ever had in my life. And he won't be getting a ring back. Definitely not. As far as dates goes, I could not believe how bad it's gone.
After his terrifying mini-adventure and a few hours in the hospital, a taxi has arrived to take James Bevan home from the Nick.
He's ready.
Is he in the front desk, is he?
Yeah, he's wearing his green suit because we cut all his clothes off him.
We were asked to take him home, and reluctantly I did.
I'm more bruised, a bit bruised and battered sort of thing, where I was shook about.
He showed a little remorse, not much, Not much. I don't think there was much mentioned about the poor owner of this car.
Look, I'm alive, didn't kill no one, so I suppose.
I find it very difficult sometimes to sit there and listen to someone go on and on and on when I've seen the damage and the hurt that they've caused.
Oh, I've got bail to the 7th of September, so I've got my birthday's on the 5th, so I can celebrate that knowing that I'll be alright. I don't want to go to prison, but if I go to prison, I go to prison. I've done the crime, so do the time.
Alright, James, you take care, mate.
I have very little time for people like that. The only remorse they have is the fact they got caught, I find.
Catching car thieves and picking up the pieces is only part of the job. Beds and Herts traffic cops must go beyond that.
Come on, Mr. Poland, out the way. Thank you.
People with knives are now an everyday occurrence for them. Officers from the Highways Agency have put in an emergency call about a man waving one around on the side of the busy M25.
Highways officers, HASOs, had asked a foreign heavy goods vehicle driver to leave the hard shoulder because he was parked on there, and they described him as becoming very irate and threatening them with a knife.
Traffic on the 4 lanes has backed up after an earlier accident and is probably why the driver decided to stop, illegally on the hard shoulder.
His driver's hours were running out. Every heavy goods vehicle driver can only drive for a certain number of hours with a tachograph before he must stop driving because he will be over his hours and committing an offence to stop them falling asleep at the wheel.
He said, no, I don't move, blah, blah. So I told him about the EU bit, saying, right at the back of your tacho, follow the same place.
Yeah.
Of course, he's got a little pig in there, he's like this with it.
The lorry driver's only been using the knife to peel potatoes for his supper.
He's just got excited and just been waving it around. It's not like he's threatened them with it or anything like that.
He's from Poland, the kingdom of the potato, and not the only lorry driver on the hard shoulder.
So he's there making himself some dinner when he's rudely interrupted by the highways officers saying, "You can't park here, you need to go." So he's become very irate and ranted at them in Polish whilst waving his knife around that he was peeling his potatoes with.
Polish?
Yeah. Polish. Tell him you're Polish.
What's that?
You know two words of that.
I do know 2 words in Polish. None of them are going to help us in this situation, unfortunately.
Did you wave that at them? You sitting in here, they told you to move. Yeah?
I don't understand.
Come with me.
Okay.
The job is a hot potato.
He needs to be given a ticket for parking on the hard shoulder, and then he needs to be told to go away and find somewhere else to park.
Where is your insurance?
Why?
Because you stopped here. Stop crying at me.
No, alive.
Out.
I don't understand English. Look.
Follow me.
No.
Follow me.
I have no problem.
Come with
Here
me.
Is 1, 2, 3. No problem. I have problem. Where I have problem? Look.
The driver's convinced he's being picked on.
And it was a complete nightmare. He just didn't want to know. And felt it was really hard done by, I think.
Where is problem?
I will phone an interpreter.
Where is problem? Please look. 1, 2, look.
The man's got evidence, pictures of other lorries that were parked up too.
Where is problem?
Calm down.
Where is problem? 40 minutes with a problem.
Come with me.
Why? No. I problem with 40 minutes. Bella, calm down. Please. Calm down. No. Please, no.
Just walk. Just walk. Come with.
What seemed a simple job is going horribly wrong.
Bella.
Arrested for
The Hatos have just made him cry. Come on. Come on. horrible Haytos made you cry. He's all right. He's just very upset.
We couldn't get through to him, so we thought we'd take him to the car, get a Polish interpreter and tell him what was going to happen.
He's starting to cry and have a temper tantrum like a kid, basically.
He's really got his knickers in a twist.
They were just some really baggy sort of trousers, yeah, and they just fell down, which was a bit weird.
The traffic cops are quite used to breakdowns, but not this kind.
Calm down.
Calm down, right?
Hey, no problem.
Okay.
Chill out.
He was quite a good actor, or he was very, very upset.
He's mad, quite frankly.
He's with the police, and we need to sort out why he stopped on the hard shoulder of the motorway. Can you just tell him that? He's not going to get hurt unless if he listens to us, he'll be fine.
He was one of 3 lorries. There was a lorry in front of him that had stopped, but had since gone when the Haytos told him to move on. And there was a Turkish chap behind him.
We were going to give the Turk a graduated fixed penalty for stopping on the hard shoulder.
Okay, so that's that one. So he's in the so he's the blue van guy.
Yeah.
Does he speak English?
No.
Woodsy gave the Turkish chap a £30 fine and told him to leave.
We can take money off people at the roadside, so...
Thank you. Thank you. Drive carefully.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Once I spoke to him with the interpreter, he tried to say that he had a problem with his tacho.
The reason why they're dealing with him in this way is because all the other ones left when they were told to, and he stayed at the side of the motorway. That's why we've been called, and he was peeling potatoes and eating his dinner, not fiddling with his tachograph.
His problem is he doesn't really understand what's going on. He's going to be charged £30 basically for stopping on the hard shoulder motorway, which he's obviously not allowed to do. His company have said if he hasn't got the £30, and they will pay that money for him.
I think once that had dawned on him that it's not as serious as potentially being locked up and taken away for the night, that he calmed right down.
There are no more tears, but the potato peeler has still got a chip on his shoulder.
20 years driver, 20 years. No problem. Russia, Turcia, complete Europa, no problem. England problem.
Okay.
No problem, complete Europa.
You know what to do, don't you?
No problem. 40 minutes go.
Go on, that way.
Luckily, the traffic cops have now got an easy way to deal with foreign drivers.
The graduated fixed penalty ticket's something that's quite new. It's something that I think the French police have been doing for a long time. But it basically says if the person doesn't have an address that you can summons them to, or they're foreign, they're not from England, they don't live in England, they don't have a residence, then you can give them the ticket and take money from them to pay for the ticket.
Next minute he was handing me the £30 and that was the end of the matter really, and then he shook our hands.
Happy?
Right.
Big smile?
Okay.
Sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay.
Bye.
He may have been a bit bananas, but he's not leaving without his potatoes.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Dave dealt with it very well. And you have to. You're a police officer. You represent the law and order in England and Wales. So you have to deal, no matter how ridiculous someone's being, you need to say, be professional with them. But really, as a member of the public, you just want to say, grow up, stop behaving in such a stupid manner, and just man up, will you? You're getting a £30 fine for stopping your vehicle on the hard shoulder and peeling potatoes. That's it.
While the Polish knife man heads off to finally get a bite to eat, reports are coming in of another sighting of someone with a knife 20 miles north in Bedford. At least Chris and Tan won't be tackling this risky job on an empty stomach.
Yes, pass details, please.
Thank you very much for the details. Had a call reporting that there's 2 Eastern European males camped under the bridge. Informants asked them to move off Sunday, Monday, but found them again there today. He's concerned that he's noticed a machete.
Nice.
She's been a log apparently. They've not caused a problem, but concerned due to macheting.
We've got a problem with knife culture in this country, and the general public are brilliant. They report anybody with a knife or an imitation firearm, or if they believe it's a firearm, or a hammer, or even a screwdriver, because those items can kill or seriously maim or hurt people. So they call us quite readily.
2 men are roughing it beneath a bridge over the river.
They've been asked to move on previously and they've refused to do so. We are going to the location with taser just to see what's going on, try and speak to these individuals.
It's not advisable to approach anybody with a knife, and although taser is a very effective tool against knife crime, you don't really want to face anybody with a blade.
Chris and Tan are meeting a local beat bobby already in the area.
There they are.
The land all belongs to the local borough council.
You're not allowed to camp or hunt or fish there without permission or with a licence for fishing.
So it's going to be, it is along here, isn't it? Towpath.
The actual informant says there was a sheath near to the machete, but it was too small for the machete to fit in.
It's just a matter now of finding the men.
It was very vague. It was one of those, I've seen somebody by the river here-ish. I remember hearing the Benny Hill music because we walked up and down that embankment or towpath several times just trying to locate these people.
Tan has finally got scent of them.
All right, guys. How are you? You okay, yeah? Do you speak English?
Yeah.
Okay. How many days have you been here?
5 days.
5 days.
The men are homeless and Polish as well.
They were living off the grid. Didn't seem to have any fixed abode.
Have you been spoken to today by anybody?
Yeah, it's been guy from Priory Marina about 1 hour ago. He just tell us that we got.
You have to leave, yeah.
Go away, so I just pack it up.
Okay.
The machete.
Not allowed that.
Is that all you have? Do you have anything else?
No.
Nothing else? Okay, tell me where. Spoken to today by anybody?
Yeah, it's been guy from Priory Marina about 1 hour ago. He just tell us that we got.
You have to leave, yeah.
Go away, so I just pack it up.
Okay.
It's here.
That's a big knife.
So, once again?
You're not allowed that.
Is that all you have? Do you have anything else?
No.
Nothing else? Okay, tell me where. Where? Okay.
Can I have a look in your bag?
Okay. Just stand there for 2 minutes, please.
Empty your pockets. Okay.
Have you not got no home?
The men are surviving on fish they catch in the river,
Fish gut.
as well as some stimulants.
Do you use heroin?
No.
No, what? Sorry? Amphetamines. Do you have any here?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What name did he give you? Was it Martin? First name?
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah.
Relation to what we found under the circumstances, seize them, get them booked in.
Yeah.
Advice. I think that's the most appropriate action as opposed to.
You do chummy, I'll do this chap.
We're going to take both of those knives and we're going to book them into property. Okay? You're very lucky under the circumstances as to how we found them. We're not arresting you. Okay? You can't be. If you walk in the street with those knives, straight away be arrested, my friend. You can't do it. So we're going to book them in and they'll be disposed of. Okay? Do you understand?
Yeah.
On the streets, you're not allowed to have a locking blade or a locked blade. And that's so commonplace for us. As patrolmen, we come across it daily.
No fish? You've taken them all, that's why.
As citizens of the EU, there's no question of the men being in the country illegally. They're just not used to our laws on camping out and machetes being poles apart from theirs.
They were using it to survive. They were camping it, they were using it in a camping environment, and they were not using them in anger. So I think the actions that we took were right.
Let's go.
Sorted.
1 hour, chaps. 1 hour.
Are you okay? Just, yeah, if you don't mind. If you just take him back to Greyfriars and just book him in for disposal, that'd be brilliant. Cheers, boys.
Investigating the aftermath of serious accidents is part and parcel of a traffic cop's job. They are the experts with all the tools, but every now and again, extraordinary incidents happen that completely fox them. Colin Ainsworth and his colleague Neil Crozier have been called to one such case. A man's body has been found lying beside the road on the outskirts of Hertford.
There wasn't any vehicle, which was quite odd at the time because it had come across that it was an RTC. You know, we're looking at a fatal and the offending driver's made off.
A passing cyclist discovered the body, but it's not clear how it got there.
A gentleman was cycling home or to work, one or other, and had seen a wallet lying at the side of the road, so found the wallet, picked it up, and as he picked it up, he saw the foot on the fence and decided to call the police.
We're not assuming at this stage that it's an RTC until we review supervision of it.
We'll throw some kit out and go
Tango
down.
one, all right. As far as I know, there is some vehicle involved and a deceased male within the vehicle. They've mentioned the skid marks. They're just down assessing the scene at the moment to see whether it's a road traffic collision, in which case it is, and obviously we've got the road closed already, which is good.
There's no car down there.
There's no car?
So there's possibly a vehicle involved. We don't know at the moment. The local inspector's taking charge because at the moment it's a body. If he decides that it's likely to be an RTC, then we'll go and take over. But until then, it's their job.
Traffic Sergeant Neil Emerson attends all fatal collisions in the area, but is hedging his bets on the cause of this one.
We didn't know whether we were investigating what could possibly have been a murder. I obviously went and liaised with the inspector there. I deployed my units, and then basically we then called out the Major Crime Task Force officers because it is being treated as a crime.
Oddly, the man's wallet and keys were not on his person, but lying neatly at the side of the road.
The witness saw and found the wallet first, stopped, went to pick it up, and then so I think he's had hands up, lifted it, and then he saw.
Has he got glasses there as well? There are skid marks on the road, but we need to rule out other things like deliberate acts. Hopefully it is a collision, so then our boys can get involved in it. The body is one side of the fence with its foot sort of caught between two wooden posts.
He's either had an impact that's placed it there, or he's had an impact and been placed there immediately after.
He's not very big at all. You could quite easily just sort of fireman's lift him and then just throw him over the thing.
Even though he wasn't a big man, the distance from where he might have been struck on the road to where he was found is considerable.
My initial thoughts was that this person had been hit and then he was deliberately put the other side of that fence.
Socos have videoed it and they're showing the video to MCTF so they can try and work out what they want done with the thing.
Right, okay.
What is quickly becoming apparent is that there is very little hard evidence to go on, either on the ground
There's nothing to suggest there's any blood trails going in.
Or on the body.
I've dealt with plenty of collisions and I did A-levels in physics. Although I'm not a collision investigator, it gives you an idea of how some of the mechanics of it would work. The skid marks appeared to me that they were too wide apart to be a fairly small vehicle. And if it's a larger vehicle, they tend to have a flat front. If people are hit by them, they tend to go downwards rather than upwards, which would suggest you wouldn't get thrown over a fence. And if it had been a smaller vehicle, whether it be a transit van or something smaller that would throw the person in the air, the skid marks on the road would have been narrower. And so the two didn't add up.
Shall we arrange to get a float to come out?
The man has been identified from what's in his wallet as a 66-year-old local man named David Alderson.
He was married with 3 sons and he had 2 daughters prior to previous marriage as well.
A police doctor is examining the body.
And it's like the mortars are setting in. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you're talking about...
He's looking for any clues to how or when the man might have died.
What's the time period for that to start setting in?
About 7 hours, but it's...
After about 7 hours?
And in order to get him that height
Yeah.
and to be hit, he must have injuries on the pelvis or chest.
And there's
hard
nothing.
enough to lift, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
a force to lift him. Well, there's no obvious marks.
All the injuries were superficial, no, except for a slight cut on his upper lip. The injuries are all superficial. No obvious injuries or bruising to his trunk, his back, his pelvis, his legs. So my immediate thought was that he couldn't have been hit by a car.
All the evidence there is at the scene is being collected.
Whenever two things come into contact, there's transfer from one to the other. So any of the items that you have on outside, so jacket, jumper, trousers, in this case gloves, hat, shoes, were seized as exhibits, bagged up so that they could be analysed in a laboratory later on.
I think that might be a glove print or something. We've got a bit of blood on the inside.
Something that may ultimately be crucial in cracking the case has been found.
On the glasses here, we've got some traces of blood on the inside part of the lens. So what we're trying to establish is how did these items get placed or located at the side of the road? Would they have just fallen out of his pocket on impact? Was it a case that an impact has taken place and a third party has then pushed the body or lifted the body and put it over the side of the fence and actually placed those items at the side of the road? It's still too early to say at the current time, but the puzzle deepens.
Either way, somebody somewhere knows the answer to the puzzle.
It makes you wonder about some people in society. The fact that somebody could leave somebody's father, husband, somebody who's got a family, and people will want to know what's gone on. If it wasn't for that cyclist, he could still be there now without anyone knowing. He could have been there for a long time, and so it makes you wonder about how people can do that kind of thing.
A post-mortem examination of the body showed that there were internal injuries consistent with being struck by a large vehicle. And at his inquest, the coroner's verdict was that he did die as a result of a road traffic incident, but he wasn't able to say whether it was accidental or not. Today, Family Liaison Officer Claire Sprent is still unable to bring David's widow, Minnie, any good news about the case. After a full investigation, the police are no nearer to solving it.
How are you and the family?
Not too good at the moment.
No?
No.
Okay.
Still trying to come to terms with everything that's happened.
David was a Jehovah's Witness and known locally as the Penny Man.
Dave wouldn't just sit around, he had to be doing something. He'd go out in all weathers, rain, snow, just so he could get out and about and look for pennies. Whatever he picked up he'd bring home, put in a jar, and he'd save them and give them to his religious group that he used to be in.
But Minnie is convinced there's more to her husband's death than meets the eye.
Because he went to the doctors and he left the doctors, I think it was about 5:30, 5:45. He'd have come home, washed, changed and gone straight to his meeting because he was always first there. And but then I was told that the meeting was cancelled. So why he would have been where he was, I haven't got a clue.
A passing motorist did see some people at the scene who have never come forward.
She saw 3 smartly dressed people, a woman and 2 blokes. The woman and the bloke were kneeling down near the fence and this other bloke was in the road beckoning the traffic round. She said she didn't want to stop because she had her children in the car. Hard to get it into your head, really. And he had a lot of years ahead of him still. We all reckon he was put there.
Some road accidents are a mystery, none more so than this one. Despite all the efforts of the police, the killer is still on the loose. A £2,000 reward is being offered by Crime Stoppers for any information that might lead to an arrest. James Bevan, who stole the girl's Mini after stealing her handbag with the keys in it, was given a prison sentence, but deferred for 6 months on the condition he doesn't re-offend. Wayne Hughes, aka Bert, pleaded guilty to driving whilst over the limit and was put on probation for a year and banned from driving for 3 years. The man with the rental car wasn't charged with taking it without consent, but he was found guilty of driving without any insurance and was fined £300